Alright everybody, this is going to be my quote-unquote official review of 20 weeks, so if you didn't want to watch all of the weeks or even my slight endgame review, I'm going to go week by week on here and then just show you the facilities as well, just to give you an idea. So the weeks obviously cap off at the end, so this is everything that happened in week 1. I'm not going to talk about parties, I'm mostly going to talk about this recruitment and dungeon type. So obviously right after the first week, the first thing we do is upgrade to Stagecoach 2, getting 4 heroes. If you've never watched any of my videos, I always mention getting the Stagecoach right here to 4 heroes, and we never moved it since the end of week 1 technically, / beginning of week 2. So we are very consistent with that, because you're going to turn out 4 heroes at a time, which you'll probably see most of my parties tend to be. Very different around week 3 and 4, because you got to double dip a little bit in the first 2 weeks. So once again, that double dipping, this is week 1, the usual suspects. We unlocked everything, we relieved stress, we didn't do anything. So we went to the ruins like you have to. So week 2, we already did a medium. Sorry, this is the party going into week 3, I believe. Regardless, we're doing a medium. How does that work out? That's weird. That's, I guess, the party. Anyways. Oh, we're successful. Okay. Whatever. That's odd. I don't like that. So yeah, wield's been unlocked. So we went to the guild. We leveled up the guild. Has been upgrading. Training is now less expensive and better training, and the guild is upgrading. So we went to 2 less expensive and to 1 advanced. So if you look at that, in the 3rd week there, we went to rank 2, and then we got 20% cheaper skills. And I'm going to stop going back to the shops once I officially go through all of them, just so you know what I'm talking about, and where each shop is, and how, like, what's the percentage, like, you know, like, skills are cheaper by how much? Well, it's 10% each time. So I did just want to clarify that before I continued. Yep, and we also got the blacksmith upgraded. Better weapons can now be forged. Level 1, let's get better weapons. That's your speed and crit. There's one more. Oh, base damage, speed, and crit. Then we obviously took this team in. We were successful. We did a short. Unlocked the Warrens and Cove. Wields level 1. We increased roster size. And as you can see here, right around here, these were all brand new people, all new 4 people. At week 3, probably almost all new people at week 5 going in. And like I said, this is where you're going to start turning out heroes, and this is always my tip. Send in people, dismiss people. Underwent effective quirk treatment, kleptomaniac. So by week 4, Sanitarium opens. Get rid of Klepto. Now I did better armor as well. We go into week 5. Everyone made it. I removed dismisses. Is this dismiss? Yeah, we got rid of his scattering because I do like to use him for range, 5%. I got more additional heroes. This may be a step you don't take because you might not be saving people at the rate I was. But you will see some names start to repeat, but for the most part, I'm still trying to send out brand new people, get a lot of people to resolve 1s. There's a resolve 2. Flawed release, once again, crit, get rid of that. Less expensive. I'm not going to rank 3 guys on the training, so as you see, I'm getting less and less expensive skills. And the purpose of the less and less expensive skills is as you pick up new people, they're only going to come with 4 out of the 7, so you're going to probably have to buy a skill or 2. It's $1,000, I believe, to buy a new skill every time, so now we're down to 700. So if we buy 2 new skills, we just saved 600, which is a crap ton of money because I have to do that on 3 heroes. I just now saved 1,800, and they can't even get to rank 3 anyways. So make the skills cheaper. The armor isn't so much of a big worry, but the skills are crucial because you'll be upgrading those every resolve rank pretty much. And like I said, the new heroes you bring out, if you even want to buy a skill or 2, you can save hundreds each time. So it's very good to do that. We're doing a medium in the Cove. Resolve 1s. I got rid of Nocturnal on Russell because my speed. Now I'm more efficient. So we got cheaper armor and stuff, and I think for the most part, we're at week 8, okay. For the most part, I think that's where I mostly left it. I might have gotten one more. Nope, I left it right there. Like I said, getting this cheaper is not too bad. The reason why I didn't have a lot of deeds, the deeds were mostly early on in the game used to max the hero roster, which it does take a considerable amount. So you're going to lag a little bit if you prioritize hero roster. So you're going to have more heroes who are going to have either better armor and cheaper armor. I would prioritize heroes. The armor can come as the heroes level up to it. I don't think you have to preemptively buy to it. So that's what I'm going to say. So I had compulsive removed and I had hard skin locked in. If you ever see a skill, if you ever see a quirk that just absolutely works with one of the heroes, like hard skinned on the man at arms, lock it in. It's really expensive, but it's a lot cheaper at the lower levels than it is at the higher. 10%, because if I ever use a protection comp, I can throw another 10% protection trinket on him, guard twice, he's at 80% by the end of turn 2 for champion, which is really good. I made the Sanitarium have more treatment rooms. I do get that to 2 by the end of this. I think 3 disease rooms. Let me check. No, I got to 2. I got to 2 and 2, but I believe I could have. Yes, I could have gotten to 3 medical. So yeah, the Sanitarium is a big one. Removing negative quirks early and having at least 2 spots is massive. So we'll see when I get to the official 2 Sanitarium spots. Once again, we're just moving up. Level 2, Survivalist is unrocked, Antique Roadshow, got rid of Clumsy, -5 dodge. As you see, every week I'm going to try to shove at least one person into that Sanitarium. As you see, some of these names are familiar, some are not. Try to get an Antiquarian early so you can make a bunch of money. There's Resolve 1. Remove Nocturnal again. Once again, that's a bad one. -2 speed. Additional hero size. Once again, that's all you're going to see the rest of the time because we only need 4 heroes per week because we need a dungeon's worth of heroes to recycle. So yeah, that's all you're really going to see. Bumper Crop, got rid of Weak Grip. Once again, melee is very good on the Flash, so we don't want him to have -5% crit. Up. Free building upgrade. I believe I used that to get to better skills. If you ever get a free building upgrade, I'd always do it on skills first, maxing out the Sanitarium or armor. Not armor, weapons. The portraits are the hardest to get next to like busts, and these are kind of whatever. I always max out skills, so I got to level 3 with that, and that's finished all of my leveling I needed to do for Apprentice, and then I could just start stockpiling portraits if I wanted to, whereas you'll see later, I actually start making the skills even cheaper relatively to how early on we were in the game. I got to my 2nd Sanitarium room, I believe, so now you should be seeing 2 heroes with negative quirk removals. There we go, 2. Got rid of the Yips and Calm. -damage on a damage dealer is good. And obviously accuracy on the Vestal, need to hit that. I did actually send someone to a stress facility. I must have really liked this guy. I typically don't do that early on, but this was like what, week 13? So right around there, I know I want to keep people. It may not be what you want to do, so you have to decide, is that 70 stress, is spending that $2 grand in a week on the Jester actually not worth it? I think they were Resolve 2. Can I check? I can't check what he was. He was probably Resolve 2, to be honest. Mortimer, I don't know when I use them. Anyways, so he was probably Resolve 2. I probably bought some skills and armor. So getting rid of him would have probably cost more real life time, in-game time, and in-game money. So I probably said, bite the bullet. Just get rid of his stress. Blacksmith, I now have level 2 weapons. That's all you need. That gets you to Resolve 3, I believe. Maybe? Hold on. Am I blanking? There's only 4 weapon spots, right? Yeah, so that gets you to Resolve 3. That's all you need for Apprentice. You don't have to go any more with that in the meanwhile. Once again, we're getting a bunch of Resolves 2s. Got rid of Cophobe and the Satan Phobia. Anything that adds 20% stress at any level in the game is pretty rough. You can honestly dodge the Cove and stuff, but I wouldn't have someone. We took down the Hag as well. I haven't been reading all of this. But we took down the Hag, so that was a boss fight. I think we start taking down all the Hag, all the bosses now. 6 more recruits than usual. Anemic, at this point I'm just kind of removing generic quirks. I've already got rid of a bunch. Looks like I got a bunch of diseases as well. Minus 20% HP is brutal. The vertigo, it's hit or miss. I probably could have left it, but it's not that expensive. And if you're not using the hero, I'd recommend just getting rid of the disease. Now we got some resolve 3s. I probably took on a boss. Yep, took on the flesh. So yeah, resolve 3. Idle Herbalist. Once again, 20% against humans. This activates Curio, so you want to remove that. Spotted Fever, Blight, Rabies. The Rabies is a weird one. I prefer to hit, but the damage isn't terrible. As you can see, the guild's upgraded to 77% already. So at week 17, we already have the guild 3/4 upgraded. That means I think there's 3 upgrades left. One cheaper one, which will hit eventually, and then 2 of the more expensive, which we were probably close to. I'll see. I might actually get to there. I can't remember. Idle Herbalist got the Resolve 4 because of the event, so that's why you see 5 people getting Resolves here, because 1 got that. Winded, not great to go slower when you're low on HP. Taking down the Siren, Resolve 3, Resolve 3. So as you can see, I was on the pretty good end of the Resolve 3s. I'll show my roster after this. Nocturnal, once again, gotta get rid of that -2 speed. There's not really any time I like to have less speed. You could maybe argue Slow Draw, -4 speed in the first round. He's already slow, but he doesn't have to go that much slower. And then the Yips never want to have decreased accuracy. I did keep the Rabies on for a while with the Antiquarian, just have respectable damage. Now we'll look at the roster. Sort by Resolve level. Yeah, we'll do that. So obviously, let's see, I had some guys going out here. So I had 3 Resolve 0. So I had a bunch of people still in that 0 to 2 range with 1 potential upgrade left to the roster. What you would have seen probably in the next 10 to 15 weeks is we already have 1 boss visible. This boss already had its second one. So it would have been the Cove. It would have been the Heavy Runes, Wield, and Cove. Well, not actually Heavy Cove. It would have been Heavy Runes and Wield to get those second round of bosses. We would have probably done a few mediums with the people in the 0 to 1 range just to get them a lot of resolve, but not push too many weeks and get a lot of cash, right? So the theories of this is you can do short dungeons, short rapid. What it does is it progresses the weeks fast, which isn't necessarily a problem. Your rewards aren't as big, and it allows you to obviously play more people. If you do longer dungeons, you obviously get more resolve, bigger loot, slower week progression. Slower week progression is not always needed. Some people might argue it's never good. Sometimes you just want to save yourself personal time and money. You just want to get some people out, rotate some people out of the Sanitarium. You don't want to do a really long dungeon, especially if everyone's Resolve 0. So sometimes doing a short dungeon is exactly what the doctor ordered. Get everyone to Resolve 1, get those skills, get those armors, get those weapons, and then send them on a medium. They're all Resolve 1. They all have a step up in skills and armor and weapons. A lot better. So would I do a medium Resolve 0s? I've done it, but you know, for the most part, I probably recommend doing a short, bump them all to Resolve 1, and then you can start smashing out mediums and longs if you wish. Resolve 1s can easily go along in bosses. I tend to like 2s just to have that guaranteed 3/3 armor, right? They can do 3/3 armor at 2. Yeah, they can do the 3. So they can do the 3/3. So if you have both of these unlocked, you can do the 3 armor, 3 weapon, and the second upgraded skill. So once you get to this point, it's really good. So if you want to be really safe with bosses, you can get to here with all Resolve 2s. You have 3/3, trust me, at that point, you're going to shred every boss. It is a little bit of a, how do I want to call it? It's a little bit of a, maybe a bad habit, I'll call it. Only reason why it could be a bad habit is if you take the first 2 rounds of bosses, the Apprentice and Veteran, at the absolute peak of your powers, you will pretty much thrash every boss after the first attempt, because the first attempt might get you. You don't know what the boss does. Might take in a really bad hero composition, like really bad. I'm not talking not ideal. I'm saying like if you go to the Hag, you only have people who can really hit the first 2 rows. Well, obviously you're going to be in trouble. So once you get the generic idea what a boss can do, and then you take in people who are Resolve 2, 3/3 weapons, 3/3 skills. You'll probably shred every single boss with a good composition to just like barely adequate. I played a random playthrough campaign where I had some really dog party compositions, I'll say, and I was still able to beat every boss. So trust me, the stuff you can get away with really bad compositions is surprising. Not ideal, makes the game go longer, and I've also played this game a lot, so even in ideal party composition to me, I can make it work. If you're new to the game, I would really spend the time to, I don't want to say fail, but to really button up your party compositions. Obviously utilize your strength. If you're a brand new player, you refuse to look things up, your beginning is not going to be as high level heroes. Like, you're not going to get to week 20 and probably have, because you'll see my heroes are fairly clean of negative quirks. And if they do have negative quirks, they tend not to always be brutal. So I don't like the bloodthirsty or paranoia. I probably would have gotten rid of one of those. But as you can see, love interest will only visit brothel. Who really cares? I personally don't really use stress facilities. I used it once in 20 weeks, I think. Curious is bad. So Retinal's Curious is not great. The God-fearing, who cares, and the Ruminator. Those are two bad ones. I probably should have gotten rid of Curious before locked in. Especially Ruminator. We could get rid of that. Claustrophobia, it's not terrible. Anemic, it's one of those ones where we hope we can find a dungeon to remove it, but it's not horrible. Flawed release, so minus 5% range skills, kind of sucks because, you know, that's what she mostly is. Craving for alcohol, okay, we'll only visit. So, like, the flawed release is the only bad one. It did lock in. Egomania, it's okay. Lazy Eye, I don't think he has any ranged skills that attack. No, he does not. So Lazy Eye, who cares, Deviant Taves is not allowed to visit brothel. These two can lock in, we don't care. That's the other thing about negative quirks, guys. Let in negative quirks that you either do not mind locking in, such as facilities you can only go to or avoid certain stress facilities. I personally, since I've played enough of the game, find those very good to lock in because I don't use stress facilities, or at least I don't use them often. And if I have to, most likely I will be able to use at least one. Unquiet Mind, may not meditate while in town. Like I said, don't care. Deviant, who cares, right? Like, let those lock in. Stress Eater, it's a weird one. Does come back to bite you on occasion, but not always. If I had open spots, I would get rid of it, but it's not my first. Torn Rotator on the Occultist. I mean, what, minus 5% off the Sacrificial Stab, 4 to 7. I mean, like, that's a nothing burger. So I wouldn't. If it locked in, but I'm not gonna fret about it. Tuckered Out, minus 10% damage below. I would remove that because eventually that will add up. I'm not a fan of that. Bad Gambler, once again, who cares? Don't gamble. And so yeah, as you can see, for the most part, my heroes are pretty good. There's a lot of heroes who don't even have negative quirks, and the ones that do aren't even terrible. So it's not allowed to gamble. We'll only gamble in town. So this essentially makes them impossible to stress heal. So in an ideal world, I would actually get rid of Gambler. It has not locked in, and I would like an option to at least stress heal. I may not stress heal often, but I do at least like the option to stress heal. So that's where I ended after 20 weeks. The next 10 actually would have been probably getting the Ruins to the Prophet, the Wheel to the Pounder. Rounding those out, probably upgrading most of these people to at least Resolve 3. Because if you do mediums, you can get people to Resolve 2 pretty quick. And then bosses give a lot of Resolve as well. So I probably could have gotten 3/4 of my roster to Resolve 3. Eventually, I would have saved up the deeds. I wasn't far away, only 12. I would have done this to 29. What that would have done is probably had an awkward, maybe 6 to 8 people who are left behind, but I'd be ready for Veteran. At that rate, you pick and choose. You do some Veterans here. So let me explain the transition real quick between Apprentice to Veteran to Champion. I think the safest way to do it is when you kill all the bosses and you have a majority of the next level. Here's what I'd recommend you do. You do one of the hard, and while in your camp, hopefully at this point you're close to 3 quirk removal spots. And also, obviously, you need to be upgraded too. So I already have Resolve 4. So I'm only actually 2 things away from finishing this up. That's pretty cool. I would not have to touch this for a long time, so I'd make these skills cheaper. So I would only need 7 more portraits to make them cheaper, and then the rest of the game I'd collect portraits just to get to rank 5, which is much later in the game. So yeah, obviously you want that and the weapons to be available. So obviously, since we don't have armor 3, collecting those deeds to get the armor first is what I would actually do. And then I would expand the stagecoach, because I got plenty of heroes that would need upgrading. I'd prefer to have the armor first before I actually came back to upgrade the stagecoach to more people. So that's what I would do. And when you're at that transition point, you do 1 hard, you remove negative quirks, you get them the skills, you get them the armor. The lower people do their business. Well, then next week, the lower people do their business. Let your higher people heal. Next week, you do your higher people. You keep ping-ponging back and forth. 1 dungeon, 1 dungeon, 1 dungeon. And that way, you slowly get your better people better, but they don't resolve up too fast. And your lower people can push the dungeon along to get to the bosses and all that. And your better people are removing the quirks. They're going in with their highest skills, armor, weapons, and no crippling negative quirks, right? So you have your ideal high people going in, and then you have your low people funding them and coming up. And honestly, as your low people come up, they're going to be getting riddled with negative quirks. They're going to need armor and stuff. Once your higher people are up there, they'll go in more often, take care of your lower people. And then once you get the champion, obviously you do the same thing. Those lower people will probably start doing the veterans, and then you'll be very picky and choosy of when you send in your Resolve 5s to champion. So that's kind of like the weird ping pong effect. You'll always have maybe, sometimes I do it perfectly and I have like maybe only 2 or 3 heroes Resolve 2 or lower. And what I'll do is, and since once again I'm pretty good at the game, I'll piecemeal them into veterans so I can pull them out of that, so I don't have to send like a 3-man dungeon. I can put a Resolve 2 into a short veteran, get out, get them to Resolve 3, we're done. If you have any questions about how to start it, or why I did something this way, or if you're completely new at the game, this was too much, leave a comment down below. I'll help talk you through it. It's a very good game, but it's a lot of information right away. Thank you for watching.